If you're a golfer, you know the feeling all too well. One day, you're striping it, just hitting everything pure. And the next, you can't seem to find the fairway to save your life. You're out there chasing distance, you're chasing accuracy, but what you're really chasing is consistency. So let's get right into it. The secret isn't some new quick tip. It's about building a solid foundation, one that won't crumble when the pressure is on. Look, we all want to hit the ball further and straighter. That's kind of the whole point of the game, right? But the real frustration comes from those rounds where it feels like you're fighting your own body. You're making these last-second, desperate corrections just to make decent contact. The truth is, that whole fight is just a symptom of a much deeper issue in your swing. And this, right here, this is the single most important idea we're going to cover. Compensations. They're all those little adjustments your body makes in the middle of your swing to try and fix a problem that started way back at the beginning. Sure, they might work once or twice, but they are the absolute enemy of a repeatable golf swing. The real key is building a swing that doesn't need them in the first place. So, how do we get rid of those pesky compensations? Well, it's not about trying to swing harder or faster. The solution is actually in creating a stable structure with your wrists and your arms from the very beginning. Think of this structure as your control center. It's what governs the club face, your power, and the entire path of the swing itself. And you know where that stable structure begins? It starts before you even think about starting the backswing. This setup, that's where good swings are born, and honestly, where bad swings are pretty much doomed from the start. So let's build this thing right, from the ground up, focusing on the parts that really matter most, your hands and arms. Okay, so take a look at this. This is so simple, but is an absolute game changer. Your lead wrist is your primary link to the club face. A flat lead wrist, like you see here, is neutral. It sets the club face perfectly square right from the get-go. But if your wrist is cupped, guess what? The face is already open. If it's bowed, it's already closed. A flat wrist is, well, it's pretty much non-negotiable. Now, your trail wrist plays a supporting role, but trust me, it's a critical one. By setting just a slight backward bend, you create a nice pressure point under the grip, and you basically preset the hinge. This lets the club load up with leverage naturally during the backswing instead of you having to force it or manipulate it. You've probably heard the term connection 1,000 times, right? This shows you what it actually means. It's not about jamming your elbows into your sides and getting all tense. It's simply about letting your upper arms rest lightly against your torso. This creates this awesome, unified system where your arms and your body turn together. This is the secret to a consistent swing path. So, here's how you make it a habit. A simple 4-step routine for every single shot. First, set your grip. Second, align your wrists, flat on the lead, a little bend on the trail. Third, position your elbows so they're pointing down. And fourth, just feel that light connection. Seriously, this takes maybe 10 seconds, and it sets you up for success before you've even moved. Okay, our foundation is set. Now it's time for the backswing. And the goal here is super simple. Maintain the great structure we just created. Let's walk through a few key checkpoints to make sure everything stays right on track. You know, the first 2 feet of the backswing are so critical. You want to move the club away as one single unit, keeping that triangle that's formed by your arms and your chest. The second you roll your wrists or hinge the club too early, you've already thrown the club completely off its natural path. So, when do you hinge the wrists? The key is to just let it happen. Don't force it. It should happen naturally, right around when your hands get to about waist height. If you hinge too early, you're going to collapse your swing arc and you'll lose a ton of width and power. This patient, delayed hinge is a hallmark of a really powerful swing. Now this right here is one of the biggest swing killers in amateur golf, the flying trail elbow. You see it all the time. When that elbow points out and away from your body, it forces the club into a super steep over-the-top position. The correct move is for that elbow to just fold and point down towards the ground. That keeps the club on plane and gets it ready for a powerful downswing from the inside. And here it is again, our number 1 checkpoint. At the very top of your backswing, I want you to check that lead wrist. If you've managed to keep its flat position all the way from address, then congratulations. Your club face is perfectly square and it's ready to deliver some serious power. If it's gotten cupped or bowed, you're in for a fight on the way down. All right, we've built a solid structure. We've stored a ton of potential energy. Now for the really exciting part. Let's unleash all that power and precision in the downswing, and, most importantly, right at the moment of impact. So here's something that might surprise you. The downswing doesn't start with your arms, not at all. It starts from the ground up. The very first move you make is a little pressure shift into your lead foot.
For just a split second, your arms are totally passive. They're just along for the ride. This sequence is what naturally drops the club onto that perfect inside path. You always hear pros talk about lag, right? Well, this is it. This is the secret sauce. By holding on to that wrist angle as you start down, you're storing up massive amounts of energy. The classic amateur mistake is to cast or throw that angle away right from the top, which just wastes all that power before it can ever get to the ball. And this is what it's all been leading to. At the moment of truth, at impact, that lead wrist has got to be flat, just like it was at address and just like it was at the top. This is what guarantees a stable club face and allows you to really compress the golf ball, creating that pure, powerful feeling that we are all chasing. No flipping, no scooping, just pure compression. A great swing has a signature look to it, and you should look for this: full extension of the arms after impact. Now, this isn't something you have to force. It's the natural result of a properly sequenced swing, where you've released all that stored energy through the ball, not at the ball. Okay, talking about all this theory is fantastic, but golf is a game of feel, isn't it? So let's shift gears and talk about how you can actually build these fundamentals into your muscle memory. It's time to turn these ideas into real, repeatable actions. This drill is a classic for a very good reason. Just take a glove and stick it under each armpit, then make some smooth half swings. The goal here isn't to pin your arms to your body. It's to teach your arms and your torso to rotate together as one unit, building that feeling of connection we talked about earlier. Honestly, your best coaching tool is probably a mirror. Go through your positions in slow motion and just check the key points we've covered. Is your lead wrist flat at address? How about at the top? Is your trail elbow pointing down? As you can see, this kind of slow motion practice lets you become your own swing coach. And this is a final and really crucial point to remember through all of this. We are trying to build a stable, athletic structure, not a stiff, robotic one. A stable swing should feel fluid and powerful, not tight and restricted. So feel the structure, but remember to stay relaxed. So what's the ultimate takeaway here? It's that the consistency you're looking for doesn't come from some magical new tip or a fancy new driver. It comes from building a stable, repeatable foundation, brick by brick, based on these sound principles of wrist and arm structure. So now, you have the blueprint. The next time you head out to the range or the course, you can stop guessing and you can start building. And the only question you really need to ask yourself is this one: is your foundation built to last?